everybody, it's Christy back with another video, and today we're going to do a sketchbook tour. So I finished the sketchbook that I started at the end of 2022. It says 2023 to 2024 here, but I did find a couple pieces from the end of 2022 that I had stuck in there. So we're going to go through it today. The front I just did recently with watercolor ground. I had painted this with watercolor ground a long time ago and just kind of left it, and it was blank. And I just got the urge one day and was like, you know what? I'm going to paint on this. So I painted on the watercolor ground and it turned out really pretty. I was just going for something loose that would look nice on the front. So I did that. I used Core watercolors to do it, which I've been playing around with lately and having a lot of fun with. So let's go ahead and get into it and look at the different things that I've tested and different art supplies that I've played with in here over the past 2 years. So I have a habit of not doing anything in the front of sketchbooks. I just leave the first couple pages blank and figure I will come back to them. So these two pieces are actually things that I did rather recently. So these both are 2024 pieces. I have started to try, and not everything in this book was able to do that, but I've started to try to say down below what paints I used and what, like, other than just the date, because I like to remember what I used and look at things and remember exactly the supply so that maybe I can be inspired by supplies more. So this is just kind of a fun swatch. I sometimes like to swatch fun, and I did it a bunch in this book. And this is a floral swatch of my Core watercolor paints. I also have the 3 metallics that I just recently purchased in here. And I'm kind of in love with these paints. They're really pretty. They really flow nicely. They do this really cool thing with the metallics where you can kind of layer them. I don't know. I really like them. So this was just a swatch that I did with that. I tend to do neurographic paintings a lot at the beginning of sketchbooks because I find them very therapeutic. I did this one with a cyan, magenta, and lemon yellow color palette. And then I kind of, while it was still wet, I splotched in those colors all over to try to get some cool, different color effects on there. And I love how this turned out. I think it's really fun and different. And then I used a black paint pen to go over it to outline everything. So that was a really fun warm-up kind of piece that I did the one day. And I recently picked up some more Diamine ink. So this is new ink to the channel, and I wanted to swatch them in here, and they are really pretty. They are from the previous iterations of the Advent calendar, except this green black. It was just a freebie sample that I got, but this is the Solstice. It's very similar to the Moonbeam from this year's calendar, but darker. I kind of am in love with it. Stargazer, which has a red, you can't see it really easily, but there is a red sheen on it, on top of it having like blue sparkle in it. And then we've got Winter Miracle, which has kind of a gold sheen. Really hard to pick up in the light here. There, you can kind of see them if I do that. And that's got a purple glitter with purple ink. So super neat. Very much looking forward to playing with those in the future. I love this floral piece, and I have no idea what paints I did it with. Really pretty. Turned out lovely. Might even make this one into a print. I like it so much. Couldn't tell you what paints I used with it. Looks like it might have just been my Daniel Smith's. I feel like this is Daniel Smith Ultramarine, but can't say it for sure. But I really like this piece. This is the year, I feel like 2023 was the year I felt really comfortable with the way that I do florals and my floral style. Okay, so these were practices for the 5-minute watercolor challenge that I did. I did a seascape practice. I did this practice with loose trees. I didn't end up doing one that looked like this, or maybe these were the ones that I filmed but didn't film. That happened. This is the one of the two that I actually did film. I think I might have done a few that didn't end up getting filmed because of technical issues. So this was the one that was in the video, and I really still love it. I still think all of these were such a great exercise. Maybe I should do another video like that. Tell me what you think about that in the comments. Should I do another 5-minute watercolor challenge video? Here we have the Van Gogh Botanical palette that I barely use because I hate the palette it's in. The paints are great, but the palette falls apart all the time, and I have it like taped and rubber banded shut. So maybe I should dig those out and put them in a different palette and play with them some more, because the paints themselves are really great. I believe I did this piece with those Van Gogh paints. I'm certain that I did. Painting a sunset is one of my favorite ways to test the vibrancy and blendability of colors. So these were with the Van Gogh. Don't remember what I used to paint this Christmas tree with, but this was in 2022. These both happened at the end of 2022. So I do think I jumped around a little bit in the sketchbook. But this tree is so cute, so pretty. I love it. Here we have the Lafranc Bourgeois palette that I got with the watercolors. And again, I did a similar kind of piece to just kind of test vibrancy and pigments. These are, I think I like them less than the Van Gogh, but I do like them. And I did go ahead and put these, both of those paint sets that I got for Christmas that year had crappy palettes, because I already put these in a different palette and I already play with them way more because they're in that other palette. So maybe that's just something I need to do. These also are in a different palette than they were when I got them, but that's because they're Gansai Tambi paints. So this is the Gansai Tambi Art Nouveau set. Had a lot of fun playing with it. Really need to play with this set more because the colors in it are just so fun. It's such a unique color palette and it's a mood. So this feels like a good mood for March. Let me know what you think about that. But maybe we should get it out and play with it in March. I'm definitely thinking for March videos, I want to play with this palette. All right. And then at the beginning of 2023, Emma Lefebvre did a little 7 watercolor series videos of just beginner friendly stuff. So I went along with that. I used the De La Rowney Aquafine set of 24 that I love so much. It's that thin palette. I've showed it off many times on the channel. And this was just me going through Emma's tutorials that she did on her site. If you don't follow Emma Lefebvre, what are you doing? Get over there right now. But this was all part of it. This was day 7 where we did color mixing and then we did some different kinds of testing. So we did like a bouquet effect, dry brushing, wet on wet with dropping water, and salt technique. And obviously these were things that I already knew how to do, but sometimes it's really fun to get outside yourself and do your beginner stuff again. You will definitely learn something about yourself and about your art. Really like this piece. It was made with gouache. So this is the Magic Fly gouache set. It was not labeled, but I figured it out because of this color. And because if you look at this, there's a sheen on some of these, and it's definitely gouache. So yeah, this is the Magic Fly gouache set of 24. And again, I know that because I tested it here to try to make a pink color, because this set is desperately in need of a pink. I have added pink gouache so that I can use it a little bit better, but this is my budget pick for nice gouache. I don't even know if you can still buy it on Amazon, but I can't recommend it enough. It's wonderful and has served me well through all of 2023. I definitely can't say enough nice things about this gouache. This was a Rosa watercolor granulating test. I swear I was just talking to one of you in the comments about which Rosa watercolor paints granulate. So if it was you, here are the paints that Rosa says granulate, and here is me putting salt on them to test that. I don't think I did this in a video. I think this was just for my own purposes. I definitely want to go back and try this again and test these again. So if you're interested in that, again, another great thing to let me know in the comments. I think these might be Rosa paints, but I can't tell you. I don't know what these are. This is the one swatch that I just can't come up with what it is. So there it is. It's pretty swatches. It might have been the Emma Lefebvre paints that we had at the time, like halfway through. I don't know. I really don't know. This is a swatch of the Regina watercolors that I was playing with one day, and those are so fun, and I definitely need to get them out more often too. They are really, really neat dye-based watercolors, totally different experience, and really, really fun. Okay, here we have another really nice piece. I really like how this floral turned out. And I love how this landscape turned out, except I went too hard on the birds. I had a phase this past year where I really went hard on the birds a lot in a lot of pieces. And I've got to learn when to stop, when to kind of pull back on how many birds I'm putting into a piece. But it's like after I get to past 3, then I start making major clumps of them, and then I can't stop myself. But I really like this piece too. I think these both turned out really nice. I don't know what this swatch stuff is here. Oh, it looks like Lefranc and Bourgeois again, because I think what I did was I think I added a couple of colors to this palette. I'm pretty sure I added either Van Gogh or De La Rowney to this palette to round it out. And then I went in and I did 4 little tester pieces, which all turned out really cute. This was just, I really got into doing this year, where I would divide the sketchbook into 4 very small pieces and do small landscapes and florals. I had so much fun doing that. I definitely want to do a video or a live where we do some artist trading cards in this way. I haven't done that in a while, and I have lots of people that I would like to send ATCs to. So keep on the lookout for that in the future. All right, these are all pieces that I filmed for a video that I never released. I did a video about different ways to fill up your sketchbook. I wanted to do a video kind of like inspired by what Mira Byler does, but all with watercolor, that was basically different ways to fill up a watercolor sketchbook. And I did take a lot of inspiration from different people and was going to link their TikToks and Instagram reels below. But both of these were inspired by that series. If you want me to release that footage, let me know in the comments. I will go back and actually put it through and make it a video. I was really proud of it. I just ran out of time to get it filmed, and then it was like way past when I did it and I forgot about it until I went through the sketchbook recently. These were also pieces for that video. So different things and ideas for filling up sketchbooks and doing simple ideas or warm-up kind of ideas if you are somebody who likes to paint, and if you're somebody just getting into watercolor. They were some really cool, I had some really cool ideas, I thought. This was Emma Lefebvre paint, and I just did a fun swatching of her paints, which was another one of my ideas that I talked about in the sketchbook. So let me know if you want me to release that footage. And then this also was an idea that was in there, was like layering circles up, which that's not terribly unique, but I thought it was at least worth mentioning that both bleeding circles and layering circles like that can be really fun, especially for learning value and water control. This is a swatch of the Solo Metallic 48 set that I did after I reviewed them, or maybe before I reviewed them, but I was just practicing with them. I still stand by this being one of my favorite budget brands for metallic watercolors. Just look at how pretty they are. Not sure what this was, but it was just a little painting stuff that I tried to do. I don't even think I was trying to make a piece. I think I was just painting various things that I was seeing or thinking about. These are some plein air pieces that I did when we were hanging out at our Apple Creek property one day. And they are probably 4 of my favorite pieces in the whole sketchbook. I absolutely love these. I am definitely going to take this one and make it into a print because I love it so much. I really love how that one turned out. I like this one too, but I have a bigger, better version of this in a more recent sketchbook. Let me show it to you because it's right here. So that piece was heavily inspired by this one. And I love this one. I just think this one is beautiful too. So these 2 are going to turn into prints here pretty soon that maybe you can buy on Etsy. I'm doing a local craft fair and I'm dipping my toes in having some art prints done. So your girl's going to start to make some prints. I'm getting there. I'm getting into it, but I really had fun. This was done with my Daniel Smith travel palette that I absolutely adore. That just brings me endless inspiration. This was the Iridori Autumn Holbein Gouache. This is the swatching. I think this was all on the video that I did with it. And then we did this pumpkin. The pumpkin is a labor of love. It started badly, but ended well. And I do like how it turned out in the end. I definitely, when I look at something like this, see how far I've come from the original pumpkins I painted, in 2019. So almost 5 years into this now, seriously, as an adult. And I feel like I have definitely upped my game, and it makes me very proud of myself as an artist. And you should be too on your own journey. Here is some of the Ferris wheel press inks that I bought and I swatched in here, just playing with them and seeing what they did on watercolor paper. And as we all know, I am in love, love, love with the Ferris wheel press inks. Not sure what I was going for here. I was just doing some florals, doing some floral practice. Yeah, not sure which paints I used for that either. It looks like I might have used Core watercolors. This like purple is I have that color in only a couple paint sets, but then this doesn't look like anything I have in the Core watercolors. So I don't know, maybe it was gouache. Maybe I had leftover gouache on a palette and I was playing with it. I honestly don't know. And I think these were with the Kiritake Gansai Tambi sets of paints. Maybe that's what this is. Maybe this was with Kiritake paints because that looks like it's possible. I think I had them out to put them in the new palettes that I got for them from Zach at Arts to Embers. Why can I not talk today? And so I may have had them out to do this. And again, you know me, I love to do a background sunset with some fun stuff. These were just tiny little paintings I was doing. I don't even know why or when, but they turned out really nice. This is that Poems About You sampler palette that I got. I definitely was starting to label things at this point in the sketchbook because I wanted to remember. I was actually just playing with this earlier today because I got a few new colors to add to this from K. Hanna Honey Hues, so that I've got a handmade palette that is a little more well-rounded because this one is just missing a few colors for me to find it suitable for plein air painting. I did this on December 18th this past December, and it was really fun. I just had some paints on my desk. I don't even remember which ones they were. It was probably one of my big palettes. It looks like I used my my 44 color like standard thin travel palette that I keep everywhere all the time. And then I must have had some metallics out that I was playing with. Maybe they were Yuli. I'm not sure. But this was really fun. I had a good time doing it. More Ferris wheel press inks that I got in December. Some of my favorites. I actually just purchased a big bottle of the Hardy Harvest because I like it so much. And that Cabernet on the Lake, I'm probably going to buy. But I have the Ruby Royal Flush that I'm working my way through. Here are some more inks that I have. I was testing some things. So this is the ink of the month, Ruby Royal Flush for February. And this is the accent color. I do not think Birmingham makes the Kentucky Bluegrass ink anymore, but it's just kind of a very mid-tone, little bit leaning warm green. And you could use any ink that is similar to that. And then I got this really pretty orange, like grease or like gray with orange specks in it. I'm like really into that right now. And then I was doing some more ink testing because we're going to have an ink of the month every month. And I was playing. This is my updated handmade watercolor palette swatch. I was adding to this palette recently and wanted to swatch it with the Smalt and a few other colors in here that weren't previously in the palette. So there it is. It's looking really, really, really well-rounded these days. I'm very happy with where it is at. I think this is a new blue as well because blue was the one color I was kind of lacking. Now I feel good about my blues and my greens. And here is the swatch that I did on my live for Ink of the Month, showing the different ways that if you add white. So here we added white to the Ruby Royal Flush. Here we added black to it, and then we watered it down. This was the green, and then this is what happened when we added the green to it to get a darker red and then more of a neutral. I have the black and the white inks here. The white ink was a little hard for you to see, and then another Ruby Royal Flush swatch that was a little bit thinner. This one really took on the sheen up here, but it doesn't always have a sheen that's quite that strong, depending on how you dilute the ink. So if you want to play along with Ink of the Month, all of that is in a highlight on Instagram. It is also detailed in our Discord server, and I believe it's detailed underneath the live video. So if you're interested in playing along and you want a chance to be featured on the channel, play along. And then we have the Holbein Iridori Winter Set. I swatched it on a different live just to show what it looked like, and it's one of my favorite sets of gouache. I just love it. I love all of these sets. I think they're curated and beautiful and evoke a feeling of a season really, really well. And then this was what we started to do with the Ruby Royal Flush ink, and I was not feeling it, so I put it down, put it away, came back to it, and was playing with it with my Ink of the Month inks, and then some of the inks that I got in the most recent Sketchbox, and I turned it into something that I like. So I ended up having a lot of fun with it and turning it into this piece, which was a really nice full learning piece, and it's inks, so it is pretty value heavy, pretty mass tone, if you will, but it was a really good time. And that is the end of this sketchbook. So hopefully you have enjoyed being on this journey with me on the channel and seeing all of these things. I hope that it inspires you to fill your own sketchbooks, because I love having them and going through them and getting to see my own progress and remembering things that I did that I really liked and things that I did that I really learned from. But most of all, what I'm interested in is which of these pieces of art reminded you of things that we have yet to do on the channel, or things that you saw in here that you were like, hey, can we talk more about that? Let me know all of that in the comments below. And that's going to be it for me today. I hope that this inspires you to fill your own sketchbook, and we will see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.